This is legitimately one of the oddest fights I have ever seen, and that is why, of course, I'm sharing it with you today. The action is going to be super tight. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen two fighters get so close together, crush their weight against one another, and fight from such a tight range. We just saw Masaki Nori, who is one of the most dangerous featherweights in the world. Crazy record, massive champion in so many elements, but mostly in K1. He just stood there for such a long time, and he's up against this opponent from China. Going in, I just assumed this was going to be him getting fed somebody that he could roll through. I actually had a contract at one point to fight Masaki Nori, but he pulled out. At least that's as far as I know, because I stayed on the card and ended up fighting somebody else. But Nori, from Japan, on the right-hand side, moved up from 145 or 143 to now 155 and has just been demolishing people. He's much bigger than he used to be, much bigger than when I had a contract to fight him, and he's just been looking so good in terms of boxing. So I was stunned to watch this fight and see the type of pressure his opponent brought to him. So we are underway. Watch for many elements of Masaki Nori, his left body hook. Watch for his cross and his right high kick, which are things which he normally throws. Look at that right high kick down low to start. But he gets tagged, he gets dropped. Why did that happen? Hopefully we'll see a replay in between rounds. But from what I saw there, very lazy on returning to defense. I feel like sometimes these very high-level fighters who think they're so good, and they are so good, but they almost get this lazy attitude in there. And that, I believe, is why Nori got countered there. He's pushing forward now, trying to bring the action, get back in the round. But his opponent doing equally good job of pressuring forward as well and throwing those nice knees from the inside up to head level. Look at them just crush the space. Glove to glove. Both pushing forward simultaneously. Nice uppercut there from the fighter from China. Again. And he's doing a really good job as well. Louis, of when he does get tight, not just staying in that shell, but actually wrapping his arms up around Nori's to make it difficult for Nori to execute any attacks. High kick there with a slide forward at the same time. That's unique when you're going up to that height. A lot of times people would just tip over. Nori is also very good at targeting the liver. Does that with a combination of a left knee, his left hook, and a body round kick. There, look at those knees firing back. But his opponent is just giving him no respect, no space. And you just don't think that's going to happen when somebody comes in against such a high striking level champion. You think maybe they're going to give them respect, they're going to recognize the danger, they're going to back up. And sometimes that's exactly what you don't want to do. But Nori working that body well. Maybe that is why his opponent is crushing the space, trying to stay in that tighter zone where it is hard to land the flush body shots. Great low kick off the back leg there though. Right hook, left hook, and again, those sharp knees on the inside. They look dangerous. You guys can already see what I mean though, right? Look at how they're jamming up the space, but maintaining action for the most part. It's not like they're crushing space and then wrapping each other up and stalling. They're just standing right inside and trading. And that right uppercut is working so well. Nori is eating so many of those. And I apologize if I'm pronouncing Nori's name right, or incorrectly, sorry. It could very well be Nori, something like that. Let's see if we can get a replay of the knockdown. Look at that, just takes a pause, but within punch range. Drops that left hand, the left hand down. That was a nice combination there. Good job switching levels. So what happens now? we have a 10-8 round. And in kickboxing, a 10-8 round means even if Norrie wins the next 2 rounds, all we have is a draw. It puts massive pressure on him to get the next 2 rounds, but also need a knockdown. So here we go, round number 2. Again, they're just both standing right in that tight zone. And crushing the space and making a fight unorthodox is sometimes one of the best things you can do against such a veteran fighter, because they've never had this fight. Like I can't even think of a fight that's been fought at this tight range. So you know Norrie hasn't dealt with it before. He's dealt with so much else. He has probably more fights than I have. Lots of experience against the highest level. I mean, he even fought Sidichai in his debut in 1FC. He lost it, but crazy hard fight to take for your debut. That just speaks to how highly regarded he is recognized in the kickboxing world to get that type of fight on a debut. Probably hoping for a victory and then moving right into a title shot. But now he's trying to fight back and not go 0 for 2, which is just wild. I do feel, however, when you look at him, that he is slightly undersized for this weight class. Like I said, he used to fight at my weight. We were competing in Glory at 143. Now he has muscled up a lot, but not gotten any taller. So to do that jump, I don't know if he's just big enough for these guys. And the fact that he is not able to push his opponent backwards, not able to create the space, is just a bit of a problem. But sharp hands when he lets them go. As I watch him, I just go, wow, he looks like he would make a fantastic boxer. I know that's a different discipline and there's much else that you have to bring to your game, but he does a fantastic job of executing. His hands can stay low. He's pretty good at slipping in and getting some rolls and some bobs and some weaves just like that. But just struggling with the challenging style. And it's interesting right here because the ref can't really break it. They're not technically clenching. He's just pushing up against Norrie. He's putting that pressure on, jamming the space. But all Norrie has to do is back up to be able to throw. It's not like he's being held. And we've seen good left body hooks from Norrie, but he's not really setting them up. He's having success, but he's not setting them up. They come in single shots for the most part. In his corner, we see Takaru, who is going to be facing Rodtang, I believe maybe in March. Takaru is one of the other K1 stars, K1 champions who has transitioned over to 1FC, but in the process not being successful so far. He had one loss against Superlek and then came back and got a victory in his second fight. Look at that sharp cross there. Really had to keep the elbow bent, bring it sort of overhand style. That was nice. One of the things about this fight game at this level that a lot of people don't recognize is it is hard. So very hard to KO people. Especially when you have somebody who has somewhat adequate defense, or this guy in general where he is jamming the space. Getting knockdowns from that tight distance is so difficult. Let's see what Norrie can do here. He essentially needs a knockdown. I didn't really score the last round in my head. It was close. If he didn't get it, then he would need 2 knockdowns or just a flat-out KO. But he's just struggling with the distance. Nice low kick there, though. When he does throw a shot, you can see the potential he has. how good he is. Ripping the body there, that was nice. Good knee. That one looks like it hurt him a little bit. Ooh. That one looks like, initially I thought it might have hit his leg, but apparently not. The spinning side kicks are one of the more dangerous techniques that can slip into the groin because they a lot of times come upwards, right? The angle. Let's see if we get a replay of that at all. Oh, came under the leg. I thought he caught the leg, but it just came straight under. Good fast recovery though, must have not landed too hard, or he had on one of the awesome diamond cups, which are just spectacular. And I actually have a link down below where you can pick one up for 10%. 10% off. Here we go. Back in the action. Nori feeling that pressure. He's got 145 left to score the knockdown. Some of the best defense I've seen, except for when he gets lazy. Really bombed that punch in, overthrew. Let's really watch his defense for a moment, especially as we get later in here. See what he can do when he's on point. There, nice high guard. Getting a little sloppier now. Both fighters probably fatiguing a little bit. A little bit caught there on that last entry. He really is throwing everything in. And maybe it was more so in round 1 and 2 when he was so confident that he was just being a little lazy on the rechambers. But the space, the crushed space between the two, is just something I haven't seen in this capacity. I'm pretty sure if you looked at a lot of fights and you went, what is the average distance between the fighters? There wouldn't be one that you could find that is like this. And the fact that both fighters are also very upright. They stand very straight. They almost go chest to chest. It's not even like their hips are pulled back and they have their head slightly forward. Very unique fight. And one, unfortunately, at this point that Masaki Nori just cannot really come back from. But you got to give his opponent from China lots of credit for what he did right there. Good pressure. Great cardio. Love the game plan. If that was actually it, maybe he just came up with that on the spot. But if that was a game plan, that was very clever. And tough dude too, because those knees are targeting right in around the liver. And he took a lot of them, plus a lot of body shots that wrapped around the elbow. And he continued to push forward. He took punishment. He did not break. Calling the fighters to the center. I don't see how this can go anyway, except for one. Notary did not take that. And I'm very excited now to see what the winner will be able to do in his next fight and who they'll put him up against, because this was a hard fight for him to take. And this is a super stacked weight class. So there we go. Lu Meng Yang, winner.